Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mage,
And this is set to so.
and we are going to be bringing you Game 1 of another 2v2 Random Hero Tournament. This is a second round match between DKH Runaway and ONU Atlas. Their opponents are MasterSpensor and Suka. He is also known as Caps, so we'll probably go by either or, just kind of interchangeably. And it does look like we are going to have early Ancient of War for Suka, MasterSpensor playing Undead, Atlas playing Undead, and Runaway playing Human. So Human Undead against Night Elf Undead, both of those pretty typical pairings there. And I believe that, let's see, MasterSpensor and Suka won their first round by a 2-1 score, whereas Runaway and Atlas won by a 2-0 score. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with the 2v2 Random Hero Tournament, it is very similar to any other 2v2 tournament, except for the minor catch that any hero you get is completely random. It can be from all four races, as well as the tavern, and you have to get it through your altar to begin with. You can later on revive your hero at the tavern, but you cannot get your first hero that way, and you can also get up to 2 of the same hero. So that definitely adds an interesting twist into the gameplay, and just makes things a little bit more interesting. So anything interesting you've noticed so far for the players? I do notice that Atlas looks like he's going for a ghoul build and not a fiend build.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I don't completely agree with that. As you may have, if you saw that last cast we did, I wasn't in favor of the ghoul build, just because I think it's really bad in 2-on-2 games in general, and especially in random heroes. But we'll see if he can pull something out of the hat to make me regret that statement. And it looks like Sitka is gonna go for the Angel of War creeping, although it's been scouted.
Yep, and Atlas has ghouls on the way, and we've got Runaway with Militia on the way, so it looks like they may be going for a completely all-in tower push here, actually.
I think they're just gonna harass while he's trying to creep the camp, but he's actually sitting with the Ancient of War, so he's tricking them. And the other one is going with Militia. Yeah, you're right. Maybe there may be.
So we've got a Lich and a Crypt Lord against the Shadow Hunter, which went for Ward first to prevent the Tower Rush from working. Innovative there. He is going to TP just because he can't afford to lose the hero so early. Probably should have done it earlier on. And he has another Ancient of War going up, so this is actually the first Tower Rush that I've seen in a Random Hero 2v2 tournament. And the heroes worked out okay, I think. Impale is certainly helpful, and a Blade Master comes out here for Spencer, so something that can definitely do a lot of damage to these peasants and prevent the towers from getting up. Does look like that is the strategy they are going to be going for. So if you were the one being tower rushed here, would you be going for unit kills or the peasant kills to prevent the towers? Which do you think is more important?
I think that the peasant kills is the best thing you can go for, just to annul the towers, because once you're able to kill the towers fairly easily, you can always deal with the rest after that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take out the peasants and just wait with the towers till they're nearly built and then kill them, you're in a fine position. And it looks like they went for Serpent Wards, so I don't really see this push doing anything at this moment.
Yeah, no, and it looks like they are going to go ahead and back off from it. I've
Shadow Hunter and a Blade Master is just way too strong to deal with at this point.
And good heads-up thinking by Suka to go for the Shadow Ward and not just automatically go for Hex. It used to be a pretty common 4v4 strategy that you would get a bunch of Shadow Hunters for the wards to push on and tower rush somebody out. And we're going to go ahead. Okay, it does look like Suka is going to be coming over here because Runaway and Atlas are trying to continue to put on this harassment pressure, just trying to take down some of the Alkalites, at least, if nothing else. And they seem really committed so far to actually doing some early game damage. If we look over there, they have not yet... Runaway just started his tech, but it does look like they really wanted to end this on an all-in push to begin with. But so far, I think that it's been going well for Suka and MasterSpensor.
Yeah, it has. I do like the decision to harass the Acolytes, though. They probably wanted to attack when MasterSpensor was upgrading to Tier 2. but the timing wasn't really there. It wasn't really that timing they were aiming for, so
Yeah, and I
it's
suspect a
not
lot of
gonna
that.
do a whole lot.
Yep.
This attack.
But I think that the timing probably would have ordinarily been good. It was just the fact that MasterSpensor TP'd with his ghouls and did not yet have the wood to tech up, and then had to start replacing the ghouls, etc. So
Yeah,
I'm guessing that is
probably
why.
right.
But Atlas continuing to do some harassment damage. This is getting in a little bit in the danger zone here. He does have the boot to speed on the
Yeah.
Lich, but I'm guessing that the Shadow Hunter, since it's level 2 now, probably has Hex. And as we all know, the Lich does go down very easily without the Death Knight in the area, so he has to be very careful he doesn't lose this. There we go, Hex does go off on the Lich, and he has to be very careful about this right now. The Lich will come back just in time, though.
He will have to TP maybe. Oh, it actually gets away.
Yeah,
It's
tries
really
to do
nice.
some wisp blocking there, but just a little bit too far behind. Spencer is now working on upgrading this Blade Master. We'll get it close to level 3 by the time this creep camp goes down, and that should be a big win for him if he manages to get level 3 on it. We do have Atlas halfway to Tier 2, Runaway probably 3/4 of the way there. Suka is almost complete with his Tier 2 tech, and MasterSpensor has just begun his.
And despite the bad heroes from Atlas and Runaway, they managed to do some work and distracted both MasterSpensor and Sutka. So I think they did a great job here. I'm not sure I like the position to expand so close to Suka, but if it goes unnoticed, they might get back into the game just by sheer economic advantage.
Yeah, it's very interesting that that's where they chose to go, and the Lich is again very low. We'll have to TP out there. So we are now seeing that once the Shadow Hunter hit level 3, harassing is just going to be so much more difficult. Do you have any explanation for why Runaway would expand to this spot and not the safe spot? Do you think he's just trying to be unpredictable, or is there some other reason that I'm missing?
Yeah, I think the main reason is that they are so far behind at this point. So they have to do something extraordinary, like taking a ninja expansion. And also it's something that you would never scout for, because it's something you would never expect. So, but the crit lord goes down now, so that was really unfortunate. Now I don't really see them come back, even with an expansion up.
No, it depends on what they choose to do here. They are going to continue to creep. I'm not sure if this is purely so they can get Scrolls of Town Portal, or if they're trying to get more hero levels, but they are taking damage on these Huntresses, whereas it seems like now would be a great time to go ahead and push, but they do pick up a TP on the Blade Master at least.
I do understand they want to creep the shop though, because you get so good items, and if you creep the 2 shops and a push, there's almost no way to stop it really. And 2-on-2, it's a common strategy on this map. Also, the Shadow Hunter is just one of the best heroes you can get in 2-on-2 random heroes. Obviously.
And I mean, as we can see, when people ordinarily go for Blade Master and Shadow Hunter at the same time, they still mesh together very, very well.
Yeah, it sure does. And they don't have a lot to defend at this point, so Atlas is forced to harass Blue, MasterSpensor, to possibly force them to TP, so they can stall for a moment and get time to get some units out and towers.
Yep, we can see that Runaway is trying to get these towers up, however, it looks like they should be able to bring those down without much effort. Now it's a question of how much damage Spencer can do, and they are going to force a TP there, which I'm a little bit surprised about, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that was a bit rushed. They could probably have stayed a bit longer, but yeah. Still, they did a lot of damage to the buildings, and now Runaway space is entirely open, so they can go again. And and Atlas will have to harass them again if that happens.
Yep, and we can see that Suka managed to grab the Lich as his second hero. Do not yet have the second hero up. It's a Naga for MasterSpensor, so they really are going to be able to take down heroes pretty much instantaneously.
A Lich. That's a really nice shadow.
Yep, Lich, the Shadow Hunter, Blade Master for the DPS.
And then Naga.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a really strong hero combination.
Things are going very, very well for Spencer and Suka at the moment, to say the least. And between the Mercenaries and the Dryads, now Suka providing a good amount of DPS to go with MasterSpensor's Fiends. I do worry that they are getting a little bit close to just having a bunch of units that can be torn through very easily. But we do see Suka going up to tier 3 now, so presumably some bears will join the mix before too long.
I hope we'll see a Blade Master with Corruption Orb. That's always a treat to see with stacked items. But I'm not sure the game will last that long. But I hope to see that because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just really good. Yeah, they're creeping a bit now with Fiends and Dryads.
Looks like they're trying to get the Shadow Hunter up to level 4 and either get Hex, second level of Hex, or the first level of Healing. I'm not sure what he spec'd as his third, but they actually move the Lich out and don't do it. Oh, retraining, there we go. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and now Runaway has 2 towers up, 3 towers, now. So they can defend, but yeah, they can't really fight them at this
but
point.
the Crypt Lord is going to go down there to the Blade Master, just not paying any attention. And
whoa, yeah, yeah, he got the boots of Quel'Thalas, so yeah, that's a pretty sick Blade Master there.
And we can see here from the team chat that Atlas and Runaway having a bit of a disagreement as to how to handle that.
Yeah, and Runaway is not really doing a great job. I can say it. Yeah, he lost the Crypt Lord 2 times without
and he's
TPing or anything.
Shredder here is actually stuck, cannot get over to the lumber mill at the moment. It doesn't look like. He does have several towers in his base. We'll see how
and he got
effective
1k
those will
gold
be.
and 11 wood.
Pulling a practical Renault.
Yeah, yeah, true. Slight mistake there.
Yeah, but this just does seem like an overwhelming army for Suka and MasterSpensor. I'm having a tough time seeing how Runaway and Atlas will manage to come back from it.
Yeah, and Atlas is going for worms. I don't really like that versus Fiends and Dryads. I think, and especially versus Shadow Hunter, that's just gonna hex them.
Mm-hmm. No destroyers for him.
Anything.
And he's in the same position. He has a good amount of gold, but he has pretty much no wood. So the fact that he has to keep pulling all of his ghouls off to go do some harassing damage, really hurting him right now.
Yeah.
And they are going to go ahead. Runaway will go ahead and feed all of his wood to Atlas. Probably should feed some gold as well, since he has 1,700 gold but no wood right now. If he was smart, he would take all of his peasants that were mining gold at his expansion, just put them onto wood, since he's got plenty of that. But it's interesting now. We can see that Spencer is not going to be so quick to jump the gun and TP back to his base. He is letting the harassment damage be done to his base, so smart move on that point until they can take the keep
decision. Away. But on the other hand, I think Suka he can pull off alone at that base now. He seems strong enough.
I agree, and that does seem to be what they came to the decision about. And Atlas actually not even going to bother to TP to the keep and try to save it. He is going to let it go down instead. Lich is getting very close to level 3 as well. And we can see while the overall economy advantage has gone to Runaway and Atlas so far, they just fell too far behind with these heroes and simply did not have quite as much luck with the heroes either.
Yeah, true. Can't really do much when you're harassing with a Crypt Lord. They should have, again, that split second we talked about in the last cast, when you get there, your random hero and a Crypt Lord pops out. Instead of going for the harass, you probably think you could do some damage to the AoE creep. It's probably better to go for an expansion or creeping. Just
especially
because you're not going to be that effective.
Exactly, and Crypt Lord is so much better at level 3 than it is at level 1. And it's slow. I mean, the Lich and Crypt Lord were 2 of the slowest heroes that they had for harassment, and even with boots, we saw them suffer because of the hex that the Shadow Hunter had.
Yeah.
And here we go. So we are going to see a TP in here. Atlas has a TP as well. I suppose that is the one major positive right now, is that they don't have to worry about running out of gold and wasting it on TPs. He will go ahead and TP out here. And Spencer is having a tough time actually keeping his economy alive right now.
Yeah. So, Mage, do you hope that they'll go for island expansion at this point and and try to stall, make for the long game and lane? I only see that as the only option they can come back in this game. Yeah. If it was me, I would definitely have tapped out. Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah, they do have a
At this
pretty good
point.
rebuilding process going on here for Runaway at his expansion. They managed to save the
Yeah,
Shredder,
and
so
they got the Arcane Sanctums up before the keep went down. That's
yeah, the big
nice.
problem is they're not producing anything from those Arcane Sanctums right now.
Yeah,
Just having them
and
there to look pretty is not a good strategy.
Masonry is only level 1, so yeah, the tower should go down fairly easily.
Yep, and Cryptlord being forced to TP away while he's in his own base there. I like the idea of bringing the Ancient War here in to tank at least a little bit of the damage. I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah, it was. Probably not something he expected to do, but now they are just hitting the buildings outside the range of the towers.
Yep, but we do see Atlas down here doing some more harassing right now. He is, if nothing else, a complete pain in Spencer's ass.
Yeah, that's true. Ghoul harassment all game. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and he's got a third worm coming out right now, but as you mentioned, against all these Dryads and the Shadow Hunter, not going to be very effective unless you can throw a Destroyer in for Devour as well. Being forced to use a lot of his resources on just rebuilding those ghouls that he loses every time.
And the Lich goes down to low HP and he's forced to TP.
Yep.
While he has, he could have killed the entire main if they didn't TP.
And Suka actually has brought a Tree of Life in here, showing that he's going to expand as well, and he can use it to tank a lot of damage, so this is a nice kind of innovative play that everybody likes to see, since not a whole lot of people would thought to bring it.
Now into the fight. This is not going to go well for them.
No, I think I agree with you right now. Unless somebody jumps the gun and gets really worried, has to TP out because of a low hero,
Nova,
like
Fork
that.
of Lightning, and Blade Master focus.
Yeah.
Goodbye, ghouls.
Blade Master is level 5 as well, so there's going to be a lot of damage coming out of that. But
yeah.
Somehow it looks like Spencer and Suka are not doing as well in this fight as I would have thought.
Yeah, they're not abusing Hex on the worms.
There we go. We do see finally one of the worms goes down to Hex, but
yeah.
You're right. They should have been doing that quite a bit earlier. They could have at least gotten 2, and there they go. So Runaway and Atlas are finally going ahead and backing up into the base more, allowing the towers to fight. And the one good thing that came out of that fight for them is the Tree of Life did go down, so that is a significant amount of wasted gold for players who really don't have that much right now, between the harassment and being forced to produce bears.
Yeah, and MasterSpensor is actually down to 35 food population at this point.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to rebuild any of his army because he's been so focused on rebuilding the Alkalites.
Yeah, exactly. So the harassment has been really effective.
What do you think about maybe Suka expanding at the natural for Runaway that could clear out the rest of the buildings there? And it's a preformed expansion, or, I mean, they know they have one down there, but I do feel like this is a good point of the game where Suka should be expanding and just ensuring that they keep the lead that they already have.
Yeah, just one of the players can go expand while the other kind of distracts them.
Yeah, although I do think
that would be really easy to do. But on the other hand, Atlas is keeping on the pressure, and I think he's playing really well this game, despite the cool build. But the Lich somewhat makes up for that. It's a good hero to get with ghouls.
Actually, Runaway is going to try and pressure Suka while Suka is in Runaway's main, clearing out the last of the buildings there. So he does have 3 bears there to try and help defend, but he has to be careful that he doesn't lose them to Slow and the Cryptlord. On the other hand, the Cryptlord looks like it's not faring very well against the bears at the moment.
When you don't have aura for the casters, they're just not as effective, as you can see.
And being forced to TP out there while defending with only 3 bears is not anything to be proud of.
No.
Suka does have his expansion going up here, and I think it's actually very important that it is Suka expanding and not Spencer, because we've seen how easily the Lich has been able to come in and kill the Alkalites for Spencer. So when you have the Wisps actually protected by the gold mine and you have to take down the building first, I think that gives a large advantage and prevents some of the harassment. So I think it was a wise decision then there to go for Suka having the expansion and not Spencer. We do see one of the destroyers is out for Spencer, and that could play a large role against the casters because currently that's kind of the only thing they have going for them is casters and frostworms. The worms can be taken out by Hex, and now the casters can immediately be dispelled by that Devour. So it does seem like an inevitable ending at this point.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time at this point. I can't really see Runaway doing any damage to any of the players. He hasn't been a threat all game.
No, although this Naga Sea Witch is going to go down to the Lich right here, so careless play a little bit by Spencer, but on the other hand...
Yeah, but he gets 2 worms
exactly.
for that, so definitely worth it, I think.
Probably 1 worm would be worth it. I mean, they're just so incredibly expensive, and that's really all Atlas has at the moment is those worms, so it has to be very careful. Lich is almost level 6. I'm not sure what, if any, difference that will really make, but it will give him access to Death and Decay at least.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's not going to make any difference with the Shadow Hunter in the field and a Blade Master. Yeah. It's hard to see how you could get back into the game from this position.
Yeah, I agree. And Runaway trying to do his best to do some harassment damage, but again and again, he's just losing his units over and over to Suka, being forced to TP away. I mean, they're doing a nice job of prolonging the game, but at what point does prolonging the game just delay the inevitable?
Yeah. That's a good question. I'm not gonna try to defend the players here, but
and Atlas coming in here, and we'll go ahead and take down the Tree of Life. So again, he's actually playing pretty well so far. I mean, I like the innovation on his part here with the Sappers. You don't see that very often in high-level 2v2 games, and the Crypt Lord just barely going to get away there. But that's yet another TP being burned.
Yeah, they could just have attacked Atlas because he has 2-3 towers. But the undead base is so weak compared to the humans, so I think they could just have ended the game like 5 to 10 minutes ago.
Probably so. We do see the Lich coming in here for an invisible Death and Decay. We'll get into the back of the base before using it here. So it's something. We'll see if it forces a TP. If so, then maybe that's a slight gain for Atlas. And there we go, Runaway saying it's over. We'll see what Atlas's response is right now. It is nice being able to see the ally chat. That's because this is a game from the bot.
Yeah, true. Yeah. When I played with Alien in this tournament, we actually spoke on Skype.
Makes sense. I mean,
that's better.
Yep. And Atlas waited just a little bit too long since he now has the Naga Sea Witch there to go ahead and do some damage. TP coming in.
TPing. Yeah, and I think the Lich will go down now.
Yep, he waited too long to TP out, and there's that GG.
GG.
So that is game 1 going to MasterSpensor and Suka.
Yeah.
So we are not going to be casting the rest of this one. The next games can be found on YouTube. So as always, thank you so much for casting with us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be casting with you and show some games for you.
Yep.
From a great tournament.
Absolutely. For those of you that are watching on Twitch, there are spoilers coming up. I'm going to say what happened, so if you don't want to listen, go ahead and mute. I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay, that's enough. So Game 2 was won by Atlas and Runaway, and it was actually a very good Game 3. Runaway and Atlas looked to have a slight lead in the game, but then unfortunately Atlas got DDoSed at the last second, and that meant that it was not able to be pulled off, and MasterSpensor and Suko did pull off the win there in what felt like an anticlimactic end due to a bad disconnect. So I actually do have to go do some work, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off here, but great to cast with you as always. For those of you watching us on Twitch, thank you for watching. Make sure to follow us on YouTube for all the VODs and subscribe to us on Twitch.